What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Removes Podcast. I am Jonathan Gonzalez here with...
I'm Jeff Luna.
And today we have an awesome guest, Mr. John Nguyen. How's it going, John?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Glad
pleasure.
to have you here.
Good.
So, Mr. Financial.
Yeah, just a little intro for everybody out there wondering who you are. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so, professionally, I'm a licensed financial planner. I'm enrolled agent, certified financial planner. I've been in practice. My license goes back to 2005. So, yeah, right? I think I was like 20 years old when I started in this industry. So, for personal education, and then I just kept reinvesting in my education and my personal development, and I think I pretty much have my licenses covered. I mean, including real estate license, right? Insurance licenses, life and health, property and casualty. 5 or 6 securities license. I've lost track. I think 5 or 6. So yeah, I'm an active investment advisor, representative, and yeah. So let's just say I have a lot of continuing education.
Yeah. So when it comes to money, you know what you're talking about.
I'm a real professional. I'm not a social media
guru,
financial, whatever they call themselves. Yeah, because they can't call themselves. They call themselves something else. No, it's
mentor, coach.
Yeah. This is as real as it gets. But
so let's talk about what it is you're doing today. What kind of business do you run, and what does that look like?
So my current business is obviously my firm, and so we I have partners too. So we do financial services. So that includes offering insurance products, investment products, and services too. So tax planning, financial planning, so services and products. Uh-huh. We're independent, so we're not. There's not a big company that we have to answer to, or they tell us how do we run our business, or what product or what services sell or push. We're built to be, to be the best fiduciary, which basically means act in the best interest of our client. And because we are independent, it's kind of weird, but like the term fiduciary sounds very impressive. It means act in the client's best interest, but how can you act in the client's best interest with just 5 tools, and you have a sales manager telling what you need to do, and you can only represent 5 companies? It's really hard. But being independent, we have a lot more flexibility. We can be more in a position to represent our client's best interests. With that, though, it comes with a lot more responsibility. I think a lot of people, like, let's say they have a financial advisor at the bank, and they think that, oh, they're a fiduciary, they're a CFP, that they're getting the best. Well, you're getting the best based on 5 options. Yeah. Like, how do you, again, it's all relative. How do you know that's good compared to what? Like, they sold you on 2 options. Like, that was it? Yeah. Did you consider anything else? But so that's the practice that I started, and it's just grown. So our business is all referral based. So we don't do any marketing. It's just purely word of mouth. That's how we met, Jeff, and we just focus on creating the very best value for our clients, and then the clients take care of us back. We take care of them, and they take care of us in terms of not keeping us a best kept secret, and just sharing with their friends and family. The joke is the people they like refer to us, the people they don't like refer to the other guy or gal, right? So yeah, I enjoy it because it's, as much as my clients choose me, I get to choose to work with them. So it's cool that I have that relationship when I show up to work or my office and I'm taking phone calls. These are people that I care about, and they care about me. So it's
when you do
I'm grateful.
Work, it goes a long way, right? Because like you do custom tailored plans for all your clients, and it obviously performs. So the referral comes naturally.
Yes, exactly. Again, just focusing on the one thing is put the client. Just do the very best for the client, right?
But also too, I think your passion, right? Like when I first met you, you're really passionate about what you do, and there's a certain types of people that I know, right? Even like with golf, right? Like Joe, like my golf coach, like you ask him one question about the golf swing and he could write you a book. You ask you, right? You ask you a question about, John, what should I do about this financial decision? Right. And you'll give all the options, explain why this one is the best one versus the others. Yeah. Like you're really passionate about what you do, and that goes a long way. Yeah.
And that passion comes across in terms of me wanting to educate and empower them, not to direct them or tell them what to do. There's a big difference, right? Like I serve as my client's CFO, right? To not make decisions for their family or for their their own finances, but empower them to make good decisions and consider their options and know if you make this choice, these are what are the things that you can look, that you can expect that will happen, or know these are the consequences of your choice, short term, long term. So that's what I want to do this for as long as forever, right? Until hopefully my kids one day they want to be involved in my practice, right, as well. But again, just like, it's pride of ownership, right? So if I'm going to sign my name, just like I do with a lot of these applications and things that we do, I want it to mean something, right? And look, there's things I can't control, like there's returns that we have no, who knows? But they know that there's a best effort there, that he cares, and these are the due diligence that he's done and made us aware of, and it is what it is. We again, there's things we can't control, but I can control the input, but the output sometimes I can't. You just do best effort, and you put the odds in the favor, right? By again doing due diligence, doing research, and making sure that my client is as informed as possible.
Mm-hmm. And then a little background about how we met, right? So before John, we had a tax preparer, right? Enrolled agent. And as we continue to progress in our real estate business, I say we, me and my dad, and we sold a significant big property at the beach, and we were going to make quite a bit of money, right? So I'm like, man, there's got to be ways to offset this, right? Because I know that we're going to take a big hit during tax time, right? So the tax preparer at the time, I talked to him, and it's, shouldn't I open up a corporation or LLC, or I don't know what to do, man, you know? And he was just like, oh, I don't think you're there yet, buddy. And I told him hey, we're closing a big transaction, but he just was so busy, never returned my calls. And so I was reaching out to everyone I knew that, was financially able, doing well, and they referred me to you, know, and the benefit obviously that we've gotten from you is the whole tax planning, right? That's huge because most people don't plan for taxes. They just do their taxes. Right. Yeah. So I think maybe give people a little bit about that. What's the difference between just a regular tax person that does your taxes during tax time versus someone who's going to actually do the planning for them?
Yeah. And I'll kind of stretch that or give you a bigger picture of that too, is just these are all financial professionals, right? You want to find a financial professional that cares about you, obviously, and has personal and professional experience in that category. It's kind of weird. Let's say you're a tax preparer, right? Generally a tax preparer, they look backwards. A tax planner, we look forward. So we're planning for the future, right? And we have to understand their business model is they have a lot of people to get through, right? Customers to get through, and that's it, right? And so that's why a financial planner is important, is that especially ones that is a fiduciary that cares, that there's great shared values, because you don't want someone who just treats you as just someone that they just want to get things done.
A paycheck who walks through the door.
And I'm privileged enough where I'm in, part of my career where I work with people that I enjoy their company, and there's great mutual respect. And we have a lot of commonalities, again, great shared values of faith, family, business, career. And so that's really important, because it's you're growing your business, but the tax person or financial professional, let's the financial professional, because there's financial professionals that deals with tax, financial professional that deals with estate planning, financial professional that deals with investments, but it doesn't matter. You want to make sure hey, I'm growing my business, and you're trying to get advice from them or their perspective or guidance, but they've never run a business themselves. You kind of see the irony there, or they make $100,000 and you're bringing in $300,000-400,000. You see my point? It's kind of where you're well,
you've never been in my shoes before.
So that's why for me, I'm very open about my finances. You got to make sure at least and foremost, your financial professional does way better than you, and you want to know how they make that money. Is it just because they invest and they have good personal finance management, versus someone who just they just sell a lot? There's nothing wrong with that, but you want to see how they conduct their business, how they, do they have an estate plan for themselves and their family? You see what I'm saying? The more that person has together, the more you would feel better getting advice from them versus a one-off. I think that's a good perspective for a lot of people to, as you seek mentorship. Why would you seek a mentor for someone who's never done it? That makes no sense, right? Advice from someone who's actually never done it. They'll give you some book, example. And I can give you a couple of those where in my world, there are these academic theory based, but in actuality, it doesn't work. It sounds really good. But yeah, I think that's really important. But yes, someone like myself is rare, hard to find. But one thing I realize is, but make sure you're clear on your expectations. So just like how, like courting somebody for a relationship, a business partnership, it's the same thing. This person is going to be your guide. So you want to make sure, hey, I want to share with you, these are my values. These are things this is what I expect from you. And you may not have but I expect for you to get, I'm sharing you this, but if you don't have the experience, find someone who does for me and share that with me to help me make this decision, right? Uh-huh. So really set the standard, or else you don't assume. What happens when we assume? You make an ass out of you and me. Yeah. The same thing, right? You're kind of assuming this guy knows, but then you realize, dude, he just has a degree or some type of certification, but you're thinking like this guy's almighty because they wear the suit. They're with a big company.
And the Lambo.
or whatever it is, right? Or they look good on, yes, we live in a society where perception is like reality, where people equal that. But sadly, I don't see that to be true. I think people a lot of it is just a facade, right? There's not really any depth there. And that's why I think it's important to share them there. You'll see already if there's a real connection, right? Mm-hmm. Beyond just the superficial, like your banker who's the financial advisor at the bank. Come on, like you really think they got sales goals they got to meet. They're with a big company, right? Their sales manager said, look, we only offer these 5 companies on our platform, and that's it. Just like if I want Coke, I think does Costco offer Coke? You see my point? Like some companies they would offer this brand and some don't, right?
Yeah.
As an independent, I offer.
I think it's Pepsi.
Yeah,
I think Pepsi.
Yeah, but if I want Coke, too bad, so sad. You see my point? Yeah. So people don't know what they don't know, but they should know that. Look, these are my values. This is what I expect from you, and so if our then it's all good, right? Move on, and I need someone who's experienced in these levels, like how ask those questions. What have been your personal experience and professional experience handling this matter? If they tell you, or they like, this is funny. Like one of my friends his colleague, he sells a lot of life insurance, but he doesn't have life insurance. Like, that's the weirdest thing. Like, how do you get?
What are your thoughts on like if I were to go to a financial advisor, tax planner, whatever,
some financial professional that you
and I'm asking them these questions, right? And they're unwilling to share their own personal information. Is that like a red flag?
Oh, that's a big red flag. It's like, come on, like, dude, you're telling me to open up my kimono, here you are like, oh, you can't see it. Like, don't really, worry. Okay, you're telling me this is a good investment. Show me your portfolio. You think this is good. Like, why and why not? Because that will tell you a lot in terms of their thought process, because you're trying to get to see how they make decisions, because that's really important, right? How do you come to a certain conclusion? Then you really then you realize, okay, then they're just selling me stuff. Then you're like, okay, pass, right? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like here you are having all these family goals and financial goals, but this person you talk to doesn't have their own family together. It's kind of hard to have that, because there are things that I've learned. I can teach you A plus B equals C. But I cannot teach you, but you can only learn like things that are human behavior, like leadership, like sacrifice. Like, how do you teach somebody these things, right, without them really going through it or making tough decisions and weighing? Yes, this is a value-based decision as opposed to like just a financial decision. I can tell you, making this value decision is going to cost you financially. You see that there are some things that you really weigh. It's not black and white. I wish it's that simple, but it isn't. And this person is going to want, and you want this person to grow with you. Right, just like what you experienced. Clearly, you outgrown. You need an upgrade, right? You're like your business. As you grow, you got to upgrade the people you surround yourself with, right? The tools you use, right? It's just
absolutely
because your client demand more, just like you demand more. So now you're because you have more. There are different sets of challenges and problems that you face. Clearly, this person, clearly they don't prioritize you. That message wasn't clear enough. That's clear. And then the other thing is they're not seeing what you're seeing. So you see that there's time for that's a clear mismatch.
Yeah.
So
and like I tell everyone too, it's kind of a good point. Just because someone's busy, it doesn't mean that that's good, right? It sounds like they're too busy to service you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, even in real estate, it's a service-based business, right? It's all about the service. So the fact that someone sells 1,000 homes a year, what does that do for the customer?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, as long as you're active, right? I mean,
and the way they treat it may be all the same, right? But my clients, I got to treat everybody differently, right? The way they want to be treated. So it takes personalization. It takes a lot of care. I see myself as like, you're someone you go to for a tailor, right? I don't sell you the suit that's just off the rack and everybody, like, dude, this is tailored. So, we make sure it's a perfect fit, right? And so that's why I realized this doing as long as I have is that there's no such thing as bad advice. It's just advice that didn't fit your own plan. Clearly, right? It worked for somebody, but like, I heard this is good. Of course it is. I always tell them, but your case, how do you? It has no bearing or any fit to your own plan. And so it's just the advice didn't fit, and they don't have the knowledge or somebody to really empower them to think in a manner that they think that. Like they don't have a plan. They don't have, so it's hard for them. So they just kind of grasp at straws. Whatever they hear is good, like whatever it is. And they're like, let's do it. That does nothing for them. It's good. It feels like they're being productive, but really they're not. They're kind of chasing their tail or just having activity, but really it's not going anywhere.
So John, I mean, you're obviously a young guy that's successful. There's a lot of young people that listen to our podcast. Tell us about like, how did you get to like where you're at? Like, what's like your upbringing? Like, where'd you start? Like, go to school at? Like, what's kind of your background?
That's a great question. I think anything, it all starts at the home, right? Like parenting or the lack of parenting. There's always something when we grow up that had a profound impact in our life, whether it's from our parents or the people we associate with, or aunts, uncle. For me was, my dad just teaching me the sense of responsibility. I think that's it. Like, really, if there's one core value I realize that stems from, like, if you're a responsible person, you're accountable, right? You say you're going to do something, you do it. You don't want things, you're committed, right? It all stems from being responsible. I always learned from my dad, like, the bigger position or success you have, you just have more responsibility, right? To your fellow neighbor, your community. So that's why that's why for me is, I because of volunteerism and meeting people, I've learned that that's how I do. Everybody has their own definition, right? And my perspective is really success is one where you can provide for yourself and other people, that you can enrich, like the people around you. You can make things better, right? You're a contributor, not a taker. And so I think it all stems from that. So like as I become more successful and I volunteer and I have certain positions or title, it's just more responsibility. I don't see it as if like I'm entitled to more stuff. I'm entitled to more responsibilities. Right? Like it really is, because like if you're a CEO of a company, you're responsible for the people that work in your organization, right? You're there to bring out the best in them. You're not there to like have them serve you. It's all the way around where everybody grows together, right? That's always been my mindset. But it starts with my dad just planting that seed, right? Like inception, that really, that little kernel that really has grown to everything I do. And it really relates back to that. And people that are good with their finance are really responsible people. They're accountable. They take responsibility for what they do. Like for me, I have a lot of responsibility because my clients are relying on me to have the most updated information, right? To be a good resource for them. Being a husband, a dad now, again, I have responsibilities. That's how I see it. Yes, money makes it a little bit easier because I have more resources. But nonetheless, and the more successful we become, I'm looking for more ways to offer more for my clients, right? People I care about, and for more for my community and the things I do, with Cal State Fullerton, the quasi endowment that I started there. To empower college students to have a personal financial education, right? And created a website through the College of Business there called Get Personal with Finance. Because personal finance is more personal than just the finance part, because our values drive our goals.
When did you start that?
Yeah. It's
going to be almost 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, right? So that was a gift. Besides the large donation that I made, It's creating that website and being available to mentor students and
that wasn't there when I was going there. That would have been cool.
But you see what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be that a-hole, the guy who has all the success but keeps it himself and doesn't like. It's not a go-giver. That to me is just an evil. Like God bless you with certain things. I look like I have this experience, this knowledge, education. I got to be able to share that and uplift other people, especially when you know they're in need. And I can do something about it. I'm going to do something about it.
I like that you say that. It's funny you say that because as a younger individual, when I was in college, high school, whatever, right, I was going to Cal State Fullerton as well. I thought to myself, I'm like, this guy, Mihailo, donated these millions of dollars to this school. It's like, why? Why did he do that? Like back then, right? I didn't understand. Like, why are you going to, you paid to come here already. Like, why give more? But now as I get older and like I have success and I learn all these things, it's like, it's good to give back. Like I want other people to feel the position that I'm in and like to be able to make more money, to allow themselves more freedom, to enjoy their lives and do whatever they please. And it's like, it's nice to give that money back and like you said, uplift other people.
But also John, like I think too, like in that moment in time, right? A couple of years ago, we were coming out of COVID, you know, or it was still kind of happening. A lot of video influencers emerged, right? Financial gurus, the stocks going
gurus
crazy,
or fake gurus, gurus or whatever.
And you know, he was telling me like he couldn't believe some of the information that was being put out there, like publicly, you know. And that was like another like he's like okay, like it empowered him to start that passion project of his. To like hey, like this is like how it really is. It's not like you know you're gonna get become a millionaire in a week, you know, based on some crypto strategy, right? You know?
and that hurted me that much. So I'm going to do something. I have the financial means, I have the resources. I'm going to do something about it, right? Gifting that large quasi endowment at Cal State Fullerton to creating a website to doing YouTube videos. So now there's additional content out there for people to search. Something tells me I won't get up there because it's not popular videos, but at least it's out there and I feel good making an impact and I make myself available to students. You know, like I frequently visit now, well, not now, but since 2 years now, I have a parking pass. I can park in faculty and I can go, which is pretty cool. So like, because I frequent there. So like I speak to honors class, different scholarship groups about the topic of personal finance. And I have tools and it's all free on the website. GetPersonalWithFinance.com.
Just to throw this out there, if there's anyone listening who goes to Cal State Fullerton, is it only College of Business and Economics, or is it all of Cal State?
It's for everybody, but the quasi endowment that was set up, the $300,000, it's meant for the dean to use in the College of Business. But it's the information is for everybody, not just for Cal State. It's for the whole public.
Oh wow!
So like anybody can sign for free. I'm not getting their information. I can send them affiliate links if they want to contribute, donate back to the university. I'm doing it at zero cost. Something tells me if somebody's trying to make money off of you, or they need social media to make money, to me is they're not successful. I'm just saying, like, that's their business to sell for eyeballs. I don't know, man. That's, to me, that wouldn't pass my test of like success. Like, that makes no sense, dude. I got to where I am because I save. I know how to pay myself first. I invest in myself, right, and reinvest in myself, and I know how to invest in other people as well as assets. Right, I have great relationships, and I think that's one of my saving grace. And throughout, that's why I find myself very blessed. Is I know great people, right, and it's enhanced my life in so many ways. That is beyond what my assets are worth, in my opinion. But great relationship, it just makes life more interesting and fun and awesome, right? So instead of this, a guy that coops up in their big mansion or house and just kind of,
it's a joy to get up every day and do that kind of stuff.
And I think that's what it's about, right? And now with my 4 and 6 year old, just watching them grow and learning from them too, and just kind of have that, kind of see that sense of innocence again. It's awesome. So
you mentioned you saved and you sacrificed and you taught yourself all these things. Can we get into a little bit of the practicality here? You know, with a little disclaimer probably beforehand.
So the disclaimer is, again, don't take anything I say.
Entertainment.
It's entertainment. It's my personal perspective. So I'm not providing any professional advice in any way. But so let me share with you the personal. Here's the thing: you don't need a financial professional to make you rich or wealthy. There's a finite difference there, but a lot of the information's free. What dude is crazy. Like you make it sound like social influencers are the only ones that are gatekeepers of this information. Go on the website and the curriculum that I created. You'll see I've cited all the resources, the best workbooks out there. I have my own content completely free, worksheets, all of it. It's really for, it's tailored towards college students, but it's really for any young adult, anybody that wants a great education from a real professional with real experience, then get it, right? It's available. And you just sign up and then you get a secure link and then you have access to everything. Share it with, I don't care. Like this is meant to be shared, right? So, and you owe me nothing. Your information is not sold in any way or shared, period. So, and I do a weekly article. That's my other commitment. So just to kind of keep things fresh, I write an article every week that I post on the website. But yeah, so let's get practical, right? So really to be good with personal finance, it starts with your values, right? So if you want to be, because remember, like the foundation's everything. You look at anybody's success, you look at their foundation, the fundamentals, right? It's again, that sense of responsibility, being accountable, that's budgeting, savings, paying yourself first. So I think when you come with that mindset, and part of being responsible is what? You got to be educated. You don't know something, you're responsible to get that information, right? So if you're driven by really that core value, everything comes to you pretty naturally, and the information is pretty straightforward. Just don't make money, save, invest, then spend. A lot of people make money, they don't have any idea of wealth or being future focused, so they just make money and spend, and then whatever's left is gone. Then they think about savings. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. So like little things like that, are really important. When you're younger, really your money and time should be invested in yourself and your personal development. The money will come. I don't see how people are that means money is driving you. You're not driving. You see that? That's where people get into trouble. So that's why how much money is enough. They have these internal conflicts, and again, the driver of their finances is not them. It's not their values. They get lost in the shuffle. So they're chasing after whatever the quickest thing to make money, where they're forgetting about like building equity for themselves, right? Like how are they with their own personal development? What skill sets are they building, right? Like our business, it's worth more because we have a lot of equity. That means we have intellectual capital, we have good human capital, we have great market share, we have great brand identity, right? These things build over time and it keeps, right? And then the money keeps,
right?
Yeah, so same thing with a college student or a young adult. Like you have 4 years. After 4 years, what equity have you built for yourself? Right? If you're well networked, you're able to pick up some skills, dude, in 4 years, you're worth more than what you were 4 years ago. Instead of just like, I got a degree. Yeah, you and like what, 1 million other people or something, what's the value there, right? And you didn't take time to really explore your inner, yourself, but you're so freaking busy or distracted with all this shenanigan stuff, right? And then they get senioritis and, so it's really, I think, wealth and or having just your own version of your financial independence, I think it's fairly straightforward. And the hard part is just doing an assessment, is being responsible and accountable. That's it. You just have to ask, it's just very simple. If you're responsible and accountable, everything is easy. If you're responsible and accountable, why would you go after things you don't know about or you get, right? Is that being a responsible person? No. See what I'm saying? And here, books can tell you when you're young, you can take on more risks, right? Like with your investments. No, when you're younger, dude, you should take more risks on your own development. When it comes to your money, you shouldn't, because most young people got their 401k for, their savings account because they screw up and they got to pull from those accounts. It's when you're older and you have no debt, you can take on, your kids are out of the house, you're financially stable, you can take on more risks. But when you're younger, really, you should be taking stupid market risks. Yeah. That makes it, because $1,000 loss is a lot to a young individual versus someone who has their house paid off, has assets. That's nothing. That's right? You see how odd that is, where you just hear, when you're young, you can take on, so do Bitcoin. No. And by the way, that's no education. You're not even getting any real value of education. Yeah. But they mask it because it's, I don't know, they come up with some random reason to justify their craziness.
So you're telling me, well, for starters, I want to say this real quick. I heard this quote once and I think it touches on what you said. It pretty much summarizes what you said. Money never leads, it follows, right? So you can't be chasing the money. You got to like find yourself first and build a skill set, and then the money will follow, right?
Yeah. Or it'll chase you because again, they're offering you jobs or opportunities and they want you to, sell their house because again, you have equity, you have experience, you have all this value that you can create for people. So then there you go. Money chasing.
So you're suggesting step one is invest in yourself, right? Invest in yourself.
Really step one is like figure out, in my opinion, is your core values, right? Like, and I have worksheets that talk about that. Like be the driver of your finances and be an accountable, responsible person, right? Like, look, the buck stops with me. It starts with me. And so I owe it to myself to really take this matter seriously. And so I'm going to start with getting a good, clear, basic education, not from influence. I think that's the lazy route. I understand we're bored and we want to be entertained, but no, some of the information is pretty straightforward. You just need, right? You just need to take time, read it, understand it, and then you have questions. That's kind of where the learning starts. Instead of just being spoon-fed these sort of like very glamorized version of personal finance. But again, make sure that you're the driver, you're acting responsibly, you're thinking things through. I think that's kind of that compass that will again lead you to being, to take the very first step, right? Mm-hmm. And like do a financial assessment. Like I have a tool on there that's the money flow worksheet. That's a monthly budget, a spending plan, a basic cash flow analysis, all wrapped into one worksheet. It's very easy for people to think through their finances. Mm-hmm. How many people actually sit down and put down their finances? Like nobody. It's so basic, but like, right? They don't know where the numbers are. And you're here telling me all these big numbers. I want to get rich. I want to make this amount of money. But dude, you can't even.
You have no understanding of where you're even at.
Exactly. It's like you go to the gym and like you've never been weighted, measured, and you don't know what types of body you need to work on. You're just there like, just, doing stuff. That's a good start. Don't get me wrong. Not many people can even step themselves in the gym. So at least you're good there. But the other thing is, again, that's kind of where it separates the boys from the men from someone who's really serious. And I can assure you that they will be in control of their finances and their money would never, and they'll live, by the way, get this, people that understand finance will live, in my opinion, 2-3 times better than someone who doesn't, assuming that you make the same amount of income.
Yeah.
So all your listener, anybody out there, dude, you want a 2-3x improvement on your quality of life? Just add personal finance to your, not the YouTube BS stuff, but the real, like learn the basic stuff. I tell you, everything stems from the basics. Like YouTube, right? They focus on like investing, for example. All their videos is about making money. How many of them is about managing risk? Yeah. You do know a great investor are great risk managers, right? Like, what the hell? It's all about like money rating, buying random stocks, but they have no risk management strategy. Like
the stock is going to the moon.
Yeah, you see that? I get it. Fun clip arts of guy riding a rocket ship to the moon. I get all these memes, but again, it's see, that's what it's about. Like people forget. You want to be a good investor, be a good risk manager, right? You want to be good at your personal finance, making sure that you're really responsible and accountable to just understanding your cash flow.
Yeah.
I can tell you got that in order. The rest of the stuff falls in place very easily, and you won't be fooled or tricked by fancy people telling you pie in the sky stuff. Because I have a lot of clients that are, dude, they're your millionaire next door. They didn't get rich by doing crazy stuff. They get rich by doing the basics, tackling, dribbling, the same, in sports, like they're good at dude. Rock solid.
Investing
finance.
Early and often and doing the very boring.
Just indexing, stuff. Right? Or just putting money away.
Fundamentals.
You tell me, show me a person that has a habit of consistently putting away X amount of money and failing at their personal finance. I have not found one. I don't care how much, but they have a habit of doing that. Dude, they're rock solid.
So it's like very much like going to the gym. Like you said, you show up every day. I mean, you put in that little bit of effort and you'll get somewhere.
Yeah, it compounds.
And dude, and even if you don't know what you're doing, if you go enough times, you're going to see other people.
You'll stumble forward in a good way. So when you lose money, you learn from that, and then you make even more, and then you keep going.
Yeah.
It's weird, but once like whatever you seek, you'll find, right? If you're not seeking financial independence, you'll never find it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a sailboat with no direction, with a lot of wind. You're kind of like just like that's what young kids are. Like they're like the sailboat with a lot of wind, but they have no direction. Or getting to a car and I don't know, not knowing where you're going to go for.
You're just throwing darts blindfolded.
Yeah, dude, like no. Like, and again, and part of being responsible is valuing the two currencies we have every day, right? Time and money. That's it. As I get older, I realize maturity comes when you start to value the basic things, time and money. That means the time with the people we love, right? We care about, how we spend our money responsibly in a manner that really is purposeful, right? Not like you're just throwing money, like, whatever. It's like, look, it's great, but fun and all, but you do it responsibly. And so,
like John, so it's like someone that you said that they should know like their personal finance, right? Yeah, so part of that would be like, okay, you got to know how much you're bringing in a month, right? And every fixed cost or expense, right? You got to know how much is going out.
I got a great, and you guys can link it on the website. You can just download the kit and just share it. I don't care. It's like a whole zip file that has all these, and I have a lot more, like a financial guide and checklist all in one.
Yeah. A
lot of resources. It's for college, but in my opinion, it's good for adults too. Just like in there, they said like every year you should, look for scholarships. Well, it's not relevant to adults, but then look for other ways to make, it's there. I spend a lot of my heart and soul into this. So again, it was a passion project. It's a gratitude project. It's something that the more I look back, I'm like, man, I'm so grateful for what I've been blessed with. That's what I did during COVID. I was like, I have a lot of time. So it kept me, and my mind kept working as I was doing it. And I was having a lot of fun to give and share. So sharing is caring. Again,
these are free financial tools created by a professional financial advisor.
That's better than anything else out there that I've researched. Dude, the stuff there is garbage. They try to sell you stuff or pull information or get you to disclose their personal. Dude, this is all, this is
It'll
the real
be linked in the show notes for anybody who wants, because this stuff I'm sure is really, really good. Can I give you a practical scenario and you can tell me maybe where do we start from here? Is it start creating a budget or whatever it is, and what does that budget look like? Let's say we have an individual 4 years out of college, they're doing okay for themselves. Let's say they're making 70,000 now, and they're just living and spending, like earning and spending, right? There's not really any investing. There's no savings. There's nothing there. What's step one? What do I do?
Again, is put together. It's like when you go with a coach or you go to the doctor, you fill out the charts, right? To tell you, like what your build is. Are you taking any medication? All that sort of stuff, right? You can't just like, I use it because I have a lot of doctor clients. You don't go to the doctor and say, "Doc, my head hurts. Can you give me some medication I heard of that's really good for my head?" They go, "No, that's malpractice." They go through the whole, review with you. That's the same thing. So anybody that's like that, I say, great for you. You have a great, it sounds like you have a great job, career, a good start. So let's now take evaluation of where you are. And with that, then it'll be very clear where you can go. If you don't have a clear understanding, it sounds like they don't, because they mistaken the beginning for the end, right? They're just excited that they're now making money, living on their own, no mom and dad. And dude, you're just getting started. Like, unless you're good with that lifestyle, good for you. If that's your plan, which is not having a plan, but just winging it. Not having a plan is having a plan that has no, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our life is a series of decisions that we make, right? And so, and then it all boils down to your personal finance, or it all boils down to your personal life, whatever it is, right? But it's very reflective. So that's what I'm saying is you got to do that assessment. Once you have that, I can assure you, if they do that, then automatically, just by looking at that, because the way I designed that money flow worksheet, it asks you a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Then you'll go, oh shoot, okay, I need to cover these areas, and then that's where they start.
Just to give people a little insight, what are some of those parameters? Is it like, okay, you're making $6,000 a month, let's deduct your $2,500 rent. Let's deduct your $100 of gas, $80 a week for groceries, and all this.
It's a monthly budget, spending plan, a cash flow analysis, all in one.
And that's $6,000 net.
Yes, after tax.
Because I know a lot of guys like, oh, gross. I make like 10,000 gross.
Yeah. It's like,
how much making net?
Yeah, right? That's the joke. Like, damn, that was gross. The rest. So that's the thing. Again, Benjamin Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. But back then, remember, there was no taxes until the Boston Tea Party. F the king or whatever, and whoever, there, we want our own thing. And then obviously we have taxes. So let me ask you this, let me frame it. Let me personalize finance for you, because I think the topic has become impersonal, or not, whatever the word is. But when you personalize it, then it makes more sense for people. Like, for example, instead of saying, I need to save more, I need to pay myself more. It's really the same thing. Instead of having a budget, which is a very boring word, say, I need a spending plan. It's the same thing, right? Like, you see just how, like this, is $1 saved equal to $1 earned? Let me ask you that question. A lot of people would say, well, yeah, right? Well, that tells me they never actually have a job. Because after you earn $1 after taxes, what do you take home? Less than that, right?
Yeah, 28 cents.
So that's why I'm saying so $1 save is actually more than $1 earn. So you're at a 54.6% tax bracket. Like, if you add everything in California, state and federal, and you're at that echelon level, dude, you would have to make $1.54 to equal $1. So if I can save $1, oh, you betcha. Like, I have clients that have Rolls Royce, and dude, they still save $1.
Yeah.
They respect money. They're not the ones that you see in social and you just throwing money around and whatever. Again, these are due for show, right? I get it. But like, you see my point? So if you can save $1, dude, you know me, I do Ebates, any type of couponing, use a credit card that cash back. I layer it with so many, I buy slightly used, but have I just bought a MacBook Pro, 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabytes.
Damn, that's good.
Way overpower, right? Guess what I paid for? I think I got 40% off with Apple Care for 3 years plus Apple Care plus.
$1,200.
I saved so much money. I forgot but I saved like 40%. But it's just, you and I both know with Apple Care Plus for 3 years, I still have 2 years left. That thing is just as good as new.
Yeah.
Because something happens, I just pay a $50 deductible to get a brand new one.
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha I'm going to use the hell out of it. And then at the end of 3 years,
1
I'm
week
going to
before it's up, oh yeah, the sledgehammer fell on it. I don't know.
What happened? But you see my point. You see how I'm able to save money? I wouldn't buy it new. It's redundant. When you have that much power, what's the, but you see my point? I can just save. That's $1,000 I save. I would have to make what, $1,500, right? To equal, you betcha I'm going to take saving serious. So you see that, you look at a person's, the way they talk, articulate, but the way their action speaks louder than their words, right? Look how they deal with their own money. Again, you go to the financial advisor that at the bank, that's giving you this, dude, ask him, how are you
how are you managing your own wealth?
Yeah, it's I just graduated high school or whatever it is, or college, and I have this degree, and I'm telling you these investment products are great. Come on, let's be real. So it's but that's the start. And I think when those foundations are pretty clear, everything else falls into place.
Do you recall what you told me when we first met?
So was it I think the save 100,000, right? Was that the first thing I shared with you, or was it?
No, so I think we'll get started after he gets.
Because that's a good. I can tell you, if what really changed my finance is to bank $100,000. If there's one,
that was a part of it, right? But when I thought of financial advisor, I'm okay, stocks, right? So I told him I had a little savings, and I'm okay, John, where should I put this money, man? Should I buy Lucid or Tesla? What should I do with it? Because I thought, oh, this guy's gonna give me the answers, right? And he was well, Jeff, he's what got you there? I'm well, selling real estate. He's keep doing that, right?
Yeah, put more money in that that gets you more money, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, you have the vehicle, just put some gas in it.
Yeah, he was now when you come back to me and you're making X amount, now we can sit down and now we can be okay. Let's put some here. Let's
a salesperson be oh yeah, let me take your money and put you in these damn funds so I can charge you a fee and make some money. I'm dude.
Yeah,
I respect that. It's advice that you would take yourself.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I saw myself and him, starting off, right? Because I wish somebody told me, these things. So yeah, are we back? So
yeah.
And then you can and you can ask me the question about. I mean, what really changed my life was just a simple objective, and then it built from there. Was to bank $100,000. It was just, anyways. But yeah, are we ready to go? Or
yeah,
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're rolling.
Okay. Oh yeah. We're rolling. Yeah.
If you're willing to share, what point in your life did you make that first $100,000, and then what was the mindset shift from there? Okay, so
I can tell you this: I had a mentor when I started in my personal finance career. Right, he said, whatever you do, just bank $100,000, bank it, put it in the bank, don't do anything with it, and you'll see how your life will change for the better. It was the weirdest advice where it's invest that, no, just bank $100,000 and put it in the bank. And I look back, and of course I accomplished that. I think it took me like 3 years or something, but that means that I had to really value my time and money so much more. So instead of, spending money in restaurant, I would save that and bank it. Mm-hmm. And because of that habit, it got me to one, I have a goal, right? To prove that I can do it, right? And have that discipline. The rest of it is easy. And then banking $1 million, you set different goals and you can do that. And it just creates such a good discipline, the way I think about money, the way I think about time, where I can save money from here to move more to hit that goal. But it really centered me. It's the one goal that I really think it would get you to think about savings. It gets you to think about budgeting, right? Putting together a spending plan, your business, how do you make more money so you can bank more money, all of that just centers you. And it just gave me this challenge, like, man, if I can do this, I can retire my parents, I can buy them a home. And of course I accomplished all that, right? But it was just that one weird challenge that it was so simple. And I even have that worksheet on the website too. It's like, how do you get to 100,000? If there's a challenge I can challenge people is, dude, bank $100,000. If you tell me how your life will change. You'll prioritize, your future. It's a strange thing. You figure out how to make more money so you can bank more. You figure out where you can save money because it's unnecessary to spend. It's just, dude.
So you're suggesting figure out a way to have $100,000 liquid in a savings account.
Yep, doing nothing with it. Just you get to after that, you can do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah.
But trust me when I say, when you hit that, you won't be as irresponsible as you think today having 100,000. You just think about money differently. Yeah. You evaluate time, your career, how you want to invest in your personal development. It's the strangest thing.
It's more of a mind game than anything.
It is. Right? It centers you. But the best way for me to say is that's a good personal finance goal that I challenge people that are ambitious to really center themselves. It really gets you to get back to the basics and put yourself as a priority. It's strange, but the magic effect of that really just built a solid foundation for me. So
and John, you work with a lot of people that are high net worth individuals, and what's something that you can tell a younger person, and both sides, right? Yeah. What's some advice that you would give? Because obviously the younger generation, everything's becoming more expensive, right? Prices going up, and a lot of people feel that they're handcuffed. What's probably the best advice you would give a young person coming up? Maybe they're fresh out of college, maybe they're making $75K, $100K a year. What do you think that should be their mindset? Yeah,
as everything grow in value, they need to grow in value, right? So they have to have this mindset of how their worth their personal worth, their personal equity, has to grow up in value too, right? That means that they have more skill sets that are worth something in the marketplace. They're able to sell, present, communicate, articulate, be organized, effective with their time. They know how to manage their activities of, all these things, right? So that's what I need to tell somebody is look, my dad tells me this all the time. He's don't be afraid that, that there's not a job for you, right? He's dude, there's always opportunities. Be afraid that you're not capable or competent or knowledgeable or experienced because dude, they're always hiring CEOs. They just can't find the right person to fill it because they don't have they're missing that quality person. Yeah. So you need to be always prepared because once you are, then you'll have more offering, right? So students think the reverse. They think, oh man, is there going to be a job? No, they should think, am I capable? There'll be plenty of jobs. You tell me someone who's articulate, someone who's organized, someone who can problem solve, someone who can, all these skill sets, right? You're not going to get a job. I mean, nobody's going to offer you. Dude, they will make a job for you. You will be valuable in anything you do. And imagine this. If you kept reinvesting yourself, you even get better at those things. And gee, you're worth more. You like myself, with all my license, right? I can solve bigger problems. That means I get paid more or less. Of course more, right? As I work with clients, instead of giving me a check to invest $1 million, they're giving me a check for 5 million, 10 million. If I get 1% off of that, am I making more? You get my point? You see what I'm saying? It's just so I don't let the big number scare them because again, they're not, their foot is not planted. They're not grounded. So when you're not grounded, you're kind of floating in the sky and these things intimidate you. But when you're grounded, you just then you build your worth even more. And the magic of compounding is incredible. That's why you can see somebody 2-3 years and then they've grown so much. If you can double a penny, keep doubling that dude, it's extremely powerful. So same with our education, right? The things we do, the people we associate with, right? And if you keep upgrading your knowledge at that rate, come on. Like, geez, look at AI today, right? I mean,
I love how everything you're saying, you actually do, right? You're telling people, upgrade your knowledge, keep doing this. And then when you walked in here today, you're like, oh yeah, I have a license in this, that. And you name like 5, 6 different things. I'm like, wow, this guy's like really.
And I'm constantly going to new conferences and seminars, being in different study groups, right? I can learn and grow. And that's really important. I mean, like in nature, if you look at a plant, right, if it doesn't grow, what happens? It dies. There's no such thing as just staying still.
No, being stagnant.
Yeah. And again, if you're going to stumble forward, right? Keep learning. And that's kind of where, and you'll be really just, proud of yourself along the way. That's the journey that is awesome, right? The destination will be better and better and better. It just, you'll be able to accomplish a lot of things along the way. Just, like I look back at some of the things I'm able to do and places I have access to or experience. Like I didn't plan for those goals. I just plan on being my very best and keep learning. And geez, those things, come up. It's pretty awesome. So that's
it goes back to your philosophy that you said in the beginning, right? Hiring a financial advisor who actually does what they're suggesting their clients do, right?
It's pretty simple. Yeah. Or it doesn't have to be a financial, it can be an uncle and any financial professional, right? But, and just know that you're growing, you're growing yourself. So you got to find someone who grows with you. And it's like a hermit crab shedding its shell, or, it has to trade up to something bigger. Same thing as we grow. But the law of attraction works in mysterious ways where when you're ready, those things will present itself, right? Just keep challenge yourself. And I can tell you, if your goal right now is to make $500,000, you'll far exceed that. Like, again, true to me, thank goodness I didn't have a goal to make $500,000 a year, because then what? Like, it's about personal development and being my very best and being a contributor and be able to write a check to make a big impact, right? Yeah. And to share, it's awesome.
The numbers are just arbitrary.
Yeah, and like even before I was able to do that was retiring my parents, right? Something that really drove me. Again, like success comes from not so much the how to, because you'll figure that out, it's the why to, right? You have that, it'll drive you to do things that are uncomfortable or boring, but you'll do it anyways because I got to retire my parents, right? I got to be that great son. Like, they've given me so much. The worst I can do, I got to reciprocate. I got to, pay them back in some way, right? And make them proud of their investment. These little things, again, it comes back to just, again, our core values. And everything else is layer on top of that, right? So, like the tree, right? People they look at the fruits of the labor. They look at the fruits. They forget the labor that comes, before that, the fertilization, going through all the seasons. They don't see all that. But again, it's the core values, right? It's the basic, and just toughen it out and investing. Having faith allows you to see what's not yet there, right? Having faith that doing all these things, and then because you do all these things, the result will be there. And and it is. I'm living proof of that with my personal story. So, so have faith, do those things, be responsible, be accountable. Take your quality of life seriously, right? In your future, you act in that manner, then it's pretty simple. You go through life a lot more straightforward, right? And you're able to make better decisions or ask good questions so you can get to that decision making process, right? Like, so do you do that why are you pitching, like these little basic stuff like that? Because your core value is like, look, I eat my own cooking, right? If I tell you, I want to be able to proudly, All
right, John. Well, loved everything you touched on. I have one last question for you. I ask every guest this at the end of the podcast. So if we can take you back, let's say to younger John, who was told by his mentor, save 100,000 and see where that gets you. Let's take you to the beginning of that journey. If you can go back now and tell yourself one thing, what would you tell yourself?
Oh gosh, I tell myself a lot of things, but I guess obviously we all have missed opportunities in our lifetime, right? So, but again, I look back, even those missed opportunities have got me to where I am today, and I'm very grateful for it. So the only thing it's obviously like, buy some of these stocks or, that's done well and ignore the ones that are bad. Like, or it's just something like that. Or I guess, like do even more, right? Like invest more in yourself and put yourself more out there. Not like when investing, like do crazy investments and things like that, but like just invest more in yourself and put yourself more out there. Because like you're still kind of gun shy sometimes, you know, like I may not be a good fit for this or something like that. Like, it's those kind of doubt, you know, you kind of doubt your faith that it's going to be okay, you know, so you're kind of like, you play it safe,
right?
Just go for it, you know? So, because you can't take those times back. So that's what I would say is like, if you have doubts about like, just go for it. Like, so, and I can tell you, I would have made more mistakes because of those things, but I would have learned more and I would have grown more. So, yeah. There we go. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, John.
Yes.
All the free information that you're giving out, everything like that, we're going to include it down in the description below. We'll include it in the show notes.
GetPersonalWithFinance.com,
right?
Yeah. Is that where we can find you on YouTube?
Yep.
Okay. Are you anywhere else? Instagram, anything like that?
I don't even use Instagram, but there's a page. It's all through that. It's my pro bono work. So that's all through because again, none of it, you notice it doesn't mention my company's name or anything to my business. It's all pro bono. So, so it's on there.
Awesome. Well, we'll include that information below.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right. Take care, you guys.
Yeah.